In September of 31 BCE, the waters outside the Gulf of Actium in western Greece became the arena for the ultimate climax of the Roman Republic. On one side stood Mark Antony, Rome's most celebrated general, and Cleopatra VII, the wealthy queen of Ptolemaic Egypt. On the other side stood Gaius Octavianus, the adopted heir of Julius Caesar, guided by the tactical genius of his brilliant admiral, Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa. This was not merely a battle between two men. It was a clash between two fundamentally opposing philosophies of naval warfare, politics, and power. Antony brought massive floating fortresses designed for overwhelming brute force. Octavian brought speed, mobility, superior logistics, and a decisive tactical maneuver that turned betrayal and weather into total victory. Today we break down the strict historical reality of the Battle of Actium, the ships, the betrayals, Agrippa's tactical masterstroke, and the final naval clash that birthed the Roman Empire. By early 31 BCE, the Civil War had reached a critical strategic stalemate. Mark Antony and Cleopatra had established their primary naval base inside the Ambracian Gulf at Actium, assembling a combined fleet of over 350 to 500 warships alongside a massive land army of 70,000 legionaries. However, Octavian's admiral, Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa, executed a series of lightning naval raids across the Ionian Sea before the main battle even began. Agrippa captured the strategic ports of Methone and Patrae, cutting off Antony's supply lines from Egypt and the Peloponnese. By the summer, Antony's massive army was trapped inside the marshy, disease-ridden bay of Actium. Malaria swept through the camp, grain supplies ran dangerously low, and morale plummeted. Thousands of Antony's soldiers died of disease, while scores of high-ranking Roman officers deserted to Octavian's side, bringing with them Antony's complete battle plans. The two armadas that faced each other outside the Gulf of Actium represented completely different naval doctrines. Antony's armada, the heavy monsters. Antony's fleet was dominated by massive Heptors, Sevens, and Octorus, Eights, colossal warships built with heavy, thick-planked hulls designed to resist ramming attacks. Armor and artillery. The hulls were reinforced with iron-bound timber beltings to absorb impact. They carried massive wooden towers, xylocastra, on their decks, manned by archers, slingers, and ballistas. Flaws. These ships were incredibly heavy, slow to turn, and required vast numbers of rowers, men Antony no longer had due to starvation and disease. Octavian's fleet, the Liburnian Predators. Agrippa commanded a fleet of roughly 400 vessels, primarily smaller Liburnians and triremes. Speed and maneuverability. Inspired by Illyrian pirate craft, Liburnians were sleek, shallow-draft biremes. Tactical role. They could not ram Antony's reinforced wooden hulls directly without shattering their own bows. Instead, they were designed to circle, dart in, shear off the enemy's oars, and harass the massive giants from a distance. By late August, Antony's situation was desperate. His war council was bitterly divided. His Roman generals urged him to abandon the fleet and fight a land battle in Macedonia. Cleopatra, however, insisted on a naval breakthrough to save her royal treasure ships and escape back to Egypt. Just days before the battle, a high-ranking officer named Quintus Dellius deserted Antony and handed Octavian his complete naval tactical plan. Octavian and Agrippa knew exactly what Antony intended to do. On the morning of September 2nd, 31 BCE, a strong afternoon wind began to rise from the northwest, a local wind known as the Maestros. Antony ordered his heavy ships out of the narrow mouth of the Gulf, arranging them into 4 main divisions. His plan was to use his heavy ships to hold the line, while Cleopatra's 60 treasure ships waited in reserve behind the main line, ready to break through any gap toward the open sea. For the first few hours of the battle, a tense standoff occurred. Antony's heavy ships refused to advance out into the open sea, knowing that leaving the safety of the coast would allow Agrippa's lighter ships to surround them. Agrippa, equally cautious, refused to close in against the lethal range of Antony's deck-mounted catapults and archers. Then, around noon, Agrippa executed his secret tactical maneuver, the forced overextension. Seeing that Antony's left wing, commanded by Gellius Publicola, was eager to engage, Agrippa ordered his own northern wing to slowly, deliberately row backward into open water. This was not a retreat, it was a calculated bait. Publicola fell into the trap. Fearing that Agrippa was attempting to outflank his line, Publicola broke formation and advanced his heavy ships out into the open sea to engage. To maintain the line, Antony's center and right wings were forced to surge forward as well. The moment Antony's heavy ships moved into deep, open water, their fatal flaw was exposed. Gaps opened between their massive hulls. Agrippa's agile Liburnians instantly swarmed into the gaps. Instead of attempting high-speed rams against armored hulls, 3 to 4 Liburnians ganged up on individual heavy ships. They rowed past at close range, snapping Antony's oars with their bronze-reinforced bows, immobilizing the floating fortresses, and firing flaming arrows and harpoons onto their wooden decks. By early afternoon, the center of the battle had devolved into a chaotic floating siege. Antony's flagship was locked in brutal combat, surrounded by multiple Roman Liburnians. Seeing that the main battle line had broken and that Agrippa's maneuver had opened a corridor through the center of the battle space, Cleopatra saw her window of opportunity. She did not order her 60 royal ships into combat. Instead, raising her purple sails, Cleopatra's squadron caught the strong afternoon maestros wind, surged directly through the gap created by Agrippa's tactical maneuver, and broke out into the open Mediterranean, heading straight for Egypt. Seeing Cleopatra's flagship sail away, Mark Antony suffered a complete psychological collapse. Abandoning his flagship, his crew, and thousands of his fighting men, Antony transferred to a smaller, faster vessel and gave chase to Cleopatra's squadron, leaving his remaining fleet to its fate. Despite Antony's flight, the remaining crews of his heavy ships fought on with desperate bravery for hours. Because their hulls were too thick to sink through ramming, Agrippa deployed a specialized naval weapon, combustible incendiary missiles, malleoli, launched from catapults, and handheld torches. By late afternoon, ship after ship of Antony's fleet was set ablaze. Plutarch recorded that the sight was magnificent and horrifying. Dozens of massive floating wooden fortresses burning across the water as night fell over the Ionian Sea. By the end of the day, over 5,000 of Antony's soldiers and sailors had perished. Roughly 300 enemy ships were captured or burned. Within a week, Antony's abandoned land army of 70,000 men surrendered to Octavian without firing a single shot. Within a year, Octavian's forces entered Alexandria. Mark Antony and Cleopatra committed suicide, ending the 300-year-old Ptolemaic dynasty, the final remnant of the Alexander the Great's empire. The Battle of Actium was far more than a tactical naval engagement. It was the definitive structural turning point in Western history. With the destruction of Antony's fleet and the conquest of Egypt, the Roman Republic officially came to an end. In 27 BCE, 4 years after Actium, Octavian was granted the title of Augustus by the Roman Senate, becoming the first emperor of Rome and inaugurating 2 centuries of relative peace known as the Pax Romana. To commemorate his naval victory, Augustus founded the victory city of Nicopolis on the hills overlooking Actium. On the spot where his personal tent had stood, he constructed a massive stone monument decorated with the bronze rams rostra captured from Antony's fallen warships. Through Agrippa's tactical brilliant feigned retreat, superior logistics, and the mastery of lightweight, maneuverable naval technology over brute mass, the Roman navy secured absolute control of the Mediterranean, turning it into Mare Nostrum for centuries to come. The true scale of the victory at Actium was etched directly into stone. At Nicopolis, Augustus constructed a massive terrace wall displaying 35 captured bronze rams from Antony's largest warships, massive multi-ton weapons of destruction taken straight from the ocean floor. Though the bronze rams were melted down over time, the deep sockets left in the stone walls still stand today, giving modern archaeologists the exact physical dimensions of these legendary ancient leviathans. While history remembers Octavian as the founder of the Roman Empire, Actium was indisputably the masterpiece of Marcus Vipsanius Agrippa. Agrippa was the rare commander who combined engineering genius, naval innovation, and absolute loyalty. Without his relentless maritime raids, his logistics blockade, and his deceptive tactical feint on September 2nd, the heavy armadas of Antony and Cleopatra might have crushed Octavian's forces. Agrippa didn't just win a battle, he engineered an empire. Beyond naval tactics, the fall of Actium was an economic catastrophe for Ptolemaic Egypt and a financial miracle for Rome. Cleopatra's legendary royal treasury, brought onto her flagships and subsequently captured captured by Octavian after Alexandria fell was so vast that when it was brought back to Rome, interest rates across the Republic plummeted from 12% to 4%. The wealth of the pharaohs directly funded the grand marble transformation of Augustan Rome. Actium effectively demilitarized the Mediterranean. With no rival superpower left to challenge Roman naval hegemony, the massive battle fleets of the Hellenistic era became obsolete. Augustus downsized the navy, establishing permanent patrol fleets based at Misenum and Ravenna to suppress piracy and safeguard grain supply lines. For the next 2 centuries, the sea was no longer a theater of catastrophic war, but the secure highway of the Pax Romana. The victory at Actium did not merely secure Augustus's political dominance, it reshaped the physical landscape of the Roman world. The immense wealth captured from Cleopatra's royal treasury allowed Augustus to launch an unprecedented building campaign, famously boasting that he found Rome a city of brick and left it a city of marble. From the Pantheon built by Agrippa to the Forum of Augustus, the monuments that defined the golden age of Roman architecture were directly underwritten by the naval victory in the Ionian Sea. Beyond the physical engagement at sea, Actium became the centerpiece of the greatest political propaganda campaign in ancient history. Octavian understood that defeating a fellow Roman general like Mark Antony could be seen as an unforgivable civil crime. To justify the conflict, Roman poets and historians like Virgil, Horace, and Propertius were commissioned to reframe the battle not as a bloody civil war, but as a sacred cosmic struggle between Roman order and foreign Eastern tyranny. In the Aeneid, the Battle of Actium is engraved directly onto the shield of Aeneas, depicting Apollo himself descending from the heavens to strike down Cleopatra's monster gods. This brilliant ideological framing transformed a brutal tactical naval engagement into the founding myth of the Roman Empire. Today, the waters outside the Ambracian Gulf remain a treasure trove for modern marine archaeologists. Deep beneath the Mediterranean seabed lie the heavy iron anchors, bronze helmet fragments, stone catapult projectiles, and lead sling bullets, glandes, stamped with the names of Octavian's and Antony's legions. Modern side-scan sonar and underwater archaeological surveys continue to map the exact locations where Antony's leviathans were set ablaze, bringing scientific precision to the centuries-old accounts of Plutarch and Cassius Dio. Actium stands as an enduring monument to how geography, technological adaptability, and brilliant naval command can forever alter the course of human civilization.